What's up, weirdos? What's going on, guys? What is happening out there today? So we got Powell speaking this week. Is he going to pump or dump the markets, guys? Let me know in the poll that I put up in the chat. What do you think? Is Powell going to pump or dump the markets? I'll let you know what I think, guys. I think he's going to dump them. I think he's going to imply that there's not going to be a rate cut in June. And I think that markets are going to price in and expect no rate cut in June. However, I think that he'll change his tune in June and he'll cut rates anyway. So I think he'll deliberately crash markets by implying they're not going to cut rates, all the while knowing full well that they are going to cut rates in June. That's what I think is going to happen. But let me know what you guys think is going to happen. Quick shout out to the channel sponsor, guys, Decent Self-Custody Wallet. Get yourselves the biometric or the Decent card wallet today, guys. I got 5 of these Decent biometric wallets. I've got 3 of these card wallets. Probably going to pick up some more cards. It's always good to have a bunch of cards just in case, right? Program them the way that you like. Use our link down below. Get a fantastic deal, guys. Absolutely. Not your keys, not your coins. Be safe out there, guys. Be safe out there. What do we got? We got a super chat from Cody. I give Rob $15 a month, and he makes my portfolio jump by thousands. Just some food for thought. Yes, guys, you are definitely missing out on that Patreon. Nadix, another one of our native gems over on the Patreon that we got into months and months ago is, let's have a look at it here, guys. Let's go to the bubbles. Let's look at Nadix. Boom! Made me pregnant on that move. I tell you what, guys, Nadix was up over 28.5% earlier. Some people took profits. I don't think the run on Nadix is done for the day, guys. I think it was just simply a little bit of profit taking. Nadix is going to continue to climb. Zebec is up almost 6% on the day as well. Looking nice and juicy, guys. Absolutely super fantastic. Let's get into the chat a little bit, guys. Let's get into the chat. Let's see what you guys are up to today. Nadix making hella moves. Hell yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Cody, Rob is going to give us fries that'll cross our eyes. Wait, he already did if you were on the Patreon. There you go, man. And I also got the shakes that'll make you quake as well. Stay weird, Rob. Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely, man. Shane, yo, what's up, Rob and Crypto Fan? Paul, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, my friend. Azarine, what's up, man? Let's go. Zebec and Nadix. Yes, both looking absolutely juicy today. XPR is up a little modest, little 2.4% today as well, guys. Don't sleep on that. J Money, we got Bulbasaur in the house. First Pokemon of the day. Let's get it. Mario, Senor Rob, take us there. Absolutely, brother. Go fast. Hey, Rob, I am a Patreon member. I wanted to ask a question on the live, but because it is midnight where I live, I could not ask. I don't know if you can answer here. Well, just fire away, ask it. I mean, go ahead and ask. Joy, hey, Rob and Patreon family, looking forward to the Patreon live this afternoon. Thank you, Rob, for all you do. Hit the like button, everyone. Rob has the best content. There you go. I appreciate you. Williams in the house. What's up, man? Yes, we will be live on the Patreon right after we're done here, guys. So make sure you jump over and join the live stream there. Jay's in the house. Howdy, Roberto. How are we feeling about the FOMC meeting? I already answered that. Jovan's in the house. Robin, what's up, man? What do you think if Powell decided that he will not cut rates for the next 3 to 5 months? Will that start a short-term run in the short term? What do you think? Well, I think that what will happen is we'll see a move to the downside first because the markets would have to price it in. So we would see a move to the downside and then a recovery after that. However, the FOMC and Powell will never say months in advance what they're going to do, right? They're never going to say, oh, we're not going to cut rates for 6 months. Their whole excuse hinges on month-to-month data updates, right? So Guys, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Helps the channel grow. It doesn't cost you a nickel, dime, penny, nothing, not a red cent, guys. So absolutely check that out. It'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Yeah, so go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. Go fast. Hey, Rob. Just here to say, have a great day. Zebek is the beast. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Strawberry Dragons, hello, weirdo fam. Hope everyone is having a great day. Everyone is having a super fantastic day. It's nice outside, guys. I'm gonna do the live on the Patreon. Then I'm gonna take my son outside for a little bit. Probably have a water gun fight with him. Let him spray me down. You know, he has fun with that. Beebs, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Who wrote the obituary? Must have been Panic Sellers. Absolutely, another local. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Easy, yo, Powell better not be a sissy bear chicken wuss. Absolutely, I agree, man. Pre-rich weirdos in the house. There she is, Gamma Goddess in the house. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's get this money. Parallel Life, what's up? Sun's a shining and we're touching grass. Yep, day like today, guys. Get outside, touch some grass. Enjoy yourselves, right? Live in the moment. Live in the moment. BTC dominance over 65%. That's what we want to see, man. That's what we want to see. Powell is a red candle. Hope for the best, expect the worst. Hope you're all good there. Absolutely. Jesus is king. Absolutely, he is, my friend. I have a question. Yeah, ask your question. Danny, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. I have $500 in Glimmer, but I want the DCA in a new gem you dropped. Already bought 400. Is it weird to swap Glimmer for it? Because I want to buy more than. Well, I mean, it depends. If you're in, are you in the green or are you in the red on your Glimmer? There she is, Allison. Where have you been? We've had a very, very severe lack of Squirtle action in the chat. Let me tell you. Strawberry Dragon, Powell is going to be a big red. Time to grow a big bag then. Absolutely. Make sure you got some dry powder on the side. Go Nadix, grab is the equivalent of Uber. Yes, exactly. Yeah. I did a video this morning, guys, discussing the new partnership between Grab and Nadix. So make sure you check that out, guys. I think Powell mentions the potential for a rate cut next month, but he will imply it's unlikely, in my opinion. Very, very interesting. I agree. Nick, hey Rob, being a little late in the game on some of these coins, is it too late to really capitalize on this coming run? No, it's not too late, Nick. There's still time, man. There's still time, my friend. I don't know if you're over on the Patreon, but if you're not, get on over to the Patreon and I will help guide you here. I'll help you build a portfolio. You can book one-on-one coaching calls with me over there, and we can have a look at your portfolio. We can make sure that you are maximized for potential ROI in this bull run, man. Ryan, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Dadski's in the house. Definitely bought Miri on that dip. Nice. Nice piano, Rob. Yes, nice piano. Absolutely. Nia, what's going on? Nice to see you doing better. Are you able to take a look at Layer AI? Yes, I can do that for you. Absolutely, I can do that for you. Un momento. Layer AI. Where is Layer AI? LAI. Okay, we'll try that. I found it. I found it. I'll have to look at it over here on CoinGecko. Let's go to the live chart, actually. Oh, there's not a lot of chart action here for me to base anything off of, really. There's not a lot of history here. We're only going back to March on Layer AI, so any TA is going to be basically speculation at best, right? So, I mean, There's just not enough chart action here. We have kind of broken out of this downtrend, right? We got a double bottom happening here, so we could see more to the upside. But again, there's not really enough history here on the chart to make an accurate call on this. But double bottom is bullish. We've moved back to the upside. We could see further upside. You're probably going to have resistance, if I had to guess, right about here, right around that 202617 level. So, yeah. I wish there was more history. I wish I could help you more, but Powell loves to pee in the punch bowl. Nice. Wise mind. What's going on, man? Over the top. What's up, man? LUFC. Yes, Big Rob. Glad you're looking and sounding back to 100%. Let's get it, man. Big things popping. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Cryptis, what's going on? Ready for this takeoff? But I do think Powell will dump. Yes, exactly. I'll scoop it up if he dumps it. I will scoop it up. What's going on, my only Nick? What's up, buddy? I'm getting rich on my Snow Leopard airdrop today. There you go, man. Jenny, what's up, Rob? I'm on the Patreon. Can you do some TA on LCX? What is your take on this? LCX. Man, this is slow. Yep, let me look it up here. I haven't looked at an LCX chart in quite some time. Wow, it's not even on KuCoin, eh? Crazy. Very similar to everything else. It's just in a very, very, you got this downward structure. You have your breakout, just like most things. You've broken out, but you've failed to launch further. Just like a lot of charts look the same right now. AVAX looks the same. Jasmine looks the same. Swiftcoin looks the same right now. We've had a breakout of a downtrend. You do have resistance, obviously, right here at this level. 17 cents 77. You're going to have more resistance right up here at about 24 cents 29. So where will you catch support? There's not really. I mean, you could catch it. You could catch support right about here at 11 cents 33. So yeah, but you could hold right around where you are here. You could hold here around that 14 cents 07. But you're kind of a little bit below it right now. You got to get back above that level if you want it to be support. But everything's essentially waiting for Bitcoin to make its next leg up. Green tea, Squirtle here too. There we go. We have not had Squirtle in a while. We got Bulbasaur. We got Squirtle. I'm in the green, but not much, maybe 10%. Well, then, I mean, if you're in the green, it wouldn't be a terrible idea. Dustin, feeling good vibes for Zebek. Got me 35 million. Nice. Took 10 hours for the order to go through. Wow. I'll bet. It's up a little bit. It's up 4.1% on the day. Jake the Snake, Rob, have you ever played Halo? No, I have not played Halo. I'm not really a first-person shooter kind of guy. I'm more of like a World of Warcraft, RPG kind of guy, right? If you could only hold one coin that's not Bitcoin, what would it be? For the long, it depends. Are we talking long term? Are we talking mid term? Like, if we're talking like 5 to 10 years, are we talking just for the rest of this cycle? It depends. But I think Miria would be right up there. Miria would be right up there, or Moonwell, something like that. Ty, what's going on, Rob? Or Zebek, obviously. Is Zebek the next XRP? I don't think it's the next XRP. I think it's the first Zebek, but I get what you're saying. Absolutely. I've talked about that, and it's funny that you say that, because I will be talking about that in my afternoon video today. I'll be having a conversation with you guys about it on the patio conversation video I will be doing today. Actually, we'll be comparing ZBEC to XRP. So watch that video this afternoon, and you shall see, Ricky. Daryl, hey everyone, at the gym working out and waiting for that money, baby. Absolutely. There you go, man. There you go. When you say there's still time, it always reminds me of a quote from Halo, but regardless, that's cool. Nice, brother. Nice. This bull run, yeah, I don't know. It'd probably be something like, ZBEC would probably be a front runner. ZBEC or Moonwell, something like that. Yeah, probably something like that. ZBEC or Moonwell, I'd probably go with. Okay, so let's get into some of the news here, guys. We haven't covered any of the news yet. So what do we have here? Quick little update. ZBEC cards now support 12 chains, the most of any crypto card provider. We're excited to add Polygon at USDC on Polygon Silver and the Carbon cards. Load, spend, and get your card in seconds on your blockchain of choice, guys. They have added Polygon Network to their card system. Bullish. All right, what else do we have? So, Tether CEO warns EU stablecoin rules could trigger bank failures. In a recent interview with Pascal Hughley, Ardonio stated that the EU's regulatory framework could actually increase systemic financial risk rather than reduce it. He criticized the requirements that 60% of stablecoin reserves be held in uninsured cash deposits within European banks. In his view, this exposes stablecoin issuers to significant liquidity risks. He illustrated the issue using a 10 billion euro stablecoin market cap as an example. Under EU rules, 6 billion euro would need to be stored in uninsured cash deposits. Since banks operate on fractional reserves, they would typically keep only about 600 million liquid while lending out the rest. So again, centralization causes a problem, right? Banks do not hold one-to-one. They lend your money out, right? So this doesn't work. He warned that in a scenario where 20% of users request redemptions equal to 2 billion euros, the bank would be unable to meet the demand with only 600 million euro available. As a result, both the bank and the stablecoin issuer could face bankruptcy, not due to mismanagement by the issuer, but because of insufficient liquidity within the bank. So the bank would be the problem, not the stablecoin issuer. It's hilarious to me that they expect stablecoin issuers to be backed one-to-one to make sure that they have the liquidity in case of a bank run on the stablecoin, but they don't hold banks to that same standard, right? Why should a stablecoin issuer be held to a standard where they have to be one-to-one? Don't get me wrong, I think they should be. And then the bank doesn't have to have all of your money in case you want all of your money. They don't have to have it. How does that work, right? That's the old TradFi system failing, right? Exposure to weaker financial institutions. He also pointed out that major European financial institutions often refuse to work with stablecoin firms. This forces issuers to rely on smaller risk-prone banks that are more vulnerable to liquidity shocks. He argued that the setup could amplify fragility across the banking sector. He believes the regulation in effectively using stablecoin reserves to prop up weaker banks, likening the potential consequences to the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank in 2023, which had exposed similar vulnerabilities in managing and uninsured deposits. According to him, these risks are not hypothetical. He strongly believes that unless regulatory changes are made, multiple European banks could fail in the coming years, triggered by the very rules intended to stabilize the sector. He's absolutely right, guys. He's absolutely. Now, you guys know me. I have often been, uh, judgmental of Tether as a company, but he's absolutely right in this context, in my opinion. So, absolutely. All right. What else do we have? Check this out. Former U.S. ambassador to Canada says PM Mark Carney, the new PM of Canada, is the right man for the right time in Canada. I want to say at the beginning of this, I wholeheartedly disagree with that sentiment, but we have to look at both sides of the coin, right? So listen up.
Sit down with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney at the White House later today to talk tariffs, trade, and the U.S.-Canadian relationship. Joining us right now on what to expect is former U.S. Ambassador to Canada, Bruce Heyman. He is the author of The Art of Diplomacy, Strengthening the Canada-U.S. Relationship in Times of Uncertainty. He's also the CEO of Power Sustainable, a sustainability-focused asset management company.
Yeah.
And
how's that going, Bruce?
Yeah, it looks like the perfect time to dive into your book and what lessons you've put across here. This is the first meeting with Mark Carney since his election. What's at stake, Ambassador?
So I think there's a lot at stake on both sides. First of all, we have a brand new prime minister who was just elected. And I think his first real trip into the United States to sit down with Donald Trump to discuss the Canada-U.S. relationship post-Liberation Day, when I think countries all around the world were in shock about tariffs, but Canada in particular has taken this quite seriously. And I think this is an important moment for the prime minister. For the president, I think it's equally important because he has said that he is willing to and able to negotiate individual trade deals with many countries. Here's one he has one with, a trade deal that he negotiated. And so where is this going in terms of trade? And I think the markets have rallied nicely off the low. And as you've mentioned, I think now is a test, and we're going to see where these deals can get done. And I'm really rooting for the president today to actually have a really good day for the United States.
I think the markets are hoping for some quick deals. Do you think that's possible with Canada?
Well, it's possible. I would say I'm not going into this meeting with an expectation they're going to stand out with a piece of paper waving that they have a deal. But I think it's very likely that these two men look at each other and say, let's do a deal and work on at least a framework so that they can walk away and both countries can sit down and go back to work and figure out over the intervening period of time, what does it take to get a new deal? You got to remember, USMCA was up for review in 2026 anyway. Yeah. And so why not move that forward? And let's just tackle that now. So if there are any things that need to be amended or adjusted in USMCA, let's not let that hang over our shared bilateral relationship for the next year and a half to 2 years.
What are the biggest problems with USMCA? What would we see that in this country, and what would Canadians see? So how do you improve that trade agreement?
So seriously, I don't see many big problems with USMCA, which is causing, people to be so much in shock when it comes to Canada with regard to the punitive tariffs. There are issues that I think have been longstanding between whether it's Republican or Democratic presidents, that, defense spending, as an example, is something the president has brought up repeatedly. And that's something I think the Canadians have directly said they're addressing and will address going forward. There are things like dairy, where the president has mentioned this is a fraction, less than 0.5% of our trade with Canada. And yet this still seems to be an irritant. And so let's just try to figure out a way if we can deal with that. Softwood lumber has been a longstanding issue between our two countries. So these are things that can be worked out, but nothing here is so large that can't be worked out behind closed doors.
Maybe, one of the biggest drawbacks for what happened with the tariffs, Ambassador, is that the country ended up doubling down on economic policies that the gap between Canada GDP and U.S. GDP under Trudeau. I mean, you know what happened, and here they are doubling down on the same economic. It's a tragedy. The same economic policies that got them into this position forced them into the arms of another of Mark Carney, which is doubling down on the same. I don't know, the same policies that resulted in much worse growth than the country's capable of.
Is Mark Carney the same as Trudeau, though?
I mean, worse. About climate change and everything else, don't you think, Ambassador?
Mark Carney is a good person. He is incredibly talented
We're all
and
good
smart.
people. We're all good people, Ambassador.
Joe, this is the man that led the Bank of Canada through a deep financial crisis that you all experienced, and we all did. He led the Bank of England through Brexit. He sat on the chairman of the board of Bloomberg and Brookfield. This is a highly talented professional man that I think comes with a very different skill set.
Ambassador, we're all nice.
I think, look, the policies the Canadian people voted for, and that's not for the United States to say what policies the Canadians should do domestically. And the Canadian people selected Mark Carney. And I think, from my experience and knowing him and knowing even the Conservative leader, I think he's the right man for the right time for Canada. And I think we'll see as we go forward. But I think the Canadians should have a lot of confidence in him.
Ambassador, we're out of time, but we've got Jim Farley joining us today, the CEO of Ford. How does all of this impact Ford and the other big automakers here?
It's huge. I mean, we have such an integrated supply chain in the automobile industry. Ford is one of the critical manufacturers in Canada, but we make things together. Parts go across the border multiple times. And, the uncertainty of these tariffs make it incredibly difficult for Ford or other companies to plan. And that's why they're taking down guidance for this year. It's hard, given these set of policies on these tariffs, to actually do planning. I'm out here at the Milken Conference talking to business leaders and financial leaders, and almost to a person, they're looking for clarity from the White House in terms of tariffs and next steps so that they can put capital to work. And so that's the world we're in, whether you're a manufacturer like Ford or whether you're an investor like all of us sitting here figuring out where we're going to put our money. We'd like at least clarity from the president and from the White House as to where we're going with these tariffs.
I disagree wholeheartedly with him being the right man for the job. He's more concerned with increasing taxes in Canada than he is about fixing our economy. So I disagree wholeheartedly with that, but I'm just a dude trying to make a living. Hey Rob, with this high BTC dominance, how low do you see Jasmy going? Well, Jasmy's pretty close to bottomed out. Don't miss a lot of people misunderstand what Bitcoin dominance is. Bitcoin dominance means that Bitcoin's price is outperforming the altcoins, right? And when Bitcoin dominance falls, it means that altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin in terms of percentage gains, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean that money's leaving altcoins and going into Bitcoin. It could mean money's coming into the market and going into Bitcoin, like with ETFs or whatever the case might be, right? So just because Bitcoin dominance is rising doesn't mean altcoins are going to plummet, right? That's not necessarily what that means. I know that there's a big misunderstanding with what Bitcoin dominance actually is. James, hey Rob, so XRP ran up over 700x in 2017 from half a penny to over $3. Can ZBIC do the same thing and hit $1? Not this bull run, no. Not this bull run, it cannot. But James, I do, like I said about 15 minutes ago, I do have an afternoon video coming out today comparing ZBIC to XRP from 2017. So make sure you stick around for that. Lily, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Blaz in the house. What's going on? Angelo, I tried setting my Gala off Crow Exchange into Decent wallet, but it's still pending for an hour. That has nothing to do with Decent or Crypto.com. That's the Ethereum network because Gala is an ERC20 token. So that is the Ethereum network that's slowing down your transaction. Wen Moon, yes. Dadsky, wow. I'd like to welcome Alberta as our 51st state. Yes, I agree, man. I agree. I sent you a DM waiting for a one-on-one. Thanks, but hey, no problem, brother. No problem. Have confidence in your globalist banker overlord. When Lambo, you think you're nice? I try to be. Cameron, hey Rob, thoughts on Arrow is this bull run? I think it'll do very, very well. I think it will do very, very well. What do you think Mr. T's big announcement this week will be this week? I hate it when he opens his mouth. Had enough. He's bad enough on X. I don't know. I was hearing rumors that they had come to some sort of agreements with, is it India? I can't remember. I read something this morning about it. Bruno, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. So Bitcoin catches its breath after the rally. Technical analysis for May 6th. What do we got? Bitcoin. Bitcoin has consolidated around $94,000 since its surge on April 23rd, initiating a notable recovery. The weekly change stands at plus 0.53%, marking a pause after the strong 10% rebound the previous week, indicating the market is taking a breather. Weekly volume has declined to 32 billion, down 28%, reflecting a slowdown in activity. Trends remain bullish on all three horizons. Long-term, the 200 SMA with intact momentum. Medium-term, the 50-day SMA in bullish reversal. And the short-term 20 SMA confirming a recent bullish trend. However, momentum is declining, calling for short-term caution. Bitcoin is trading between key technical levels. Major resistances are between 99,000 and 100,000, extending to 102,500. Critical distribution zones. Main support at 91,700 and 82,800 are defense and probable accumulation zones. The recent break above 88,745 on the daily chart relaunches a bullish bias. The monthly pivot at 88,177, now below price, confirms this positive momentum. In volume, the high value area is 96,500, marks an upper equilibrium boundary, while the low value area at 67,340 represents a threshold of imbalance in case of a pullback. Market sentiment remains marked by greed, confirming a return to risk appetite. Bitcoin spot ETF record significant net inflows, highlighting institutional support for ongoing trends. Market sentiment indicators remain neutral and uncommitted. Open interest is stable, reflecting limited speculative positioning and no market conviction. The CVD shows balanced buying and selling flows. With no clear directional signal, liquidation levels remain low, unbiased, and without signs of capitulation. Finally, the funding rate is neutral, close to balance, indicating a market without apparent tension between buyers and sellers. So basically, the market is kind of undecided in which direction it wants to go, probably because Powell is speaking, I believe, tomorrow, and that will give us a clear indication of which way we're going. I would highly recommend not using leverage trading at this time. The main liquidation zones for short positions are between 98,000 and 100,900, then between 107,200 and 110,551. Breaching these critical levels could strengthen a bullish acceleration. Conversely, buyer liquidation zones extend from 92,600 to 89,300, then between 88,500 and 87,700, as well as 85,570, and finally 84,000 and 80,000. The latter range, representing a strategic threshold, in case of prolonged correction without buying support. In conclusion, Bitcoin maintains a bullish momentum despite a pause after its recent surge. The momentum is slowing down and activity is declining, calling for short-term caution. Sentiment remains favorable, supported by investor interest. In a stable market, short-term futures variations will depend on the expected economic news. Basically, Powell, right? In this context, it will be essential to closely monitor price reactions at strategic levels to confirm or adjust current forecasts. So I would not recommend using leverage trading. Overcome, we only think we're nice. Yes, 95K BTC. Oh, yeah, look at that. We broke 95. Russell, good morning, Rob. Watching on Crypto Blueprint. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching over on Crypto Blueprint for sure. Thanks for all you do. Thank you for supporting the channel. As always, brother, it means everything. It really does. Right in the feels, my dude. Right in the feels. I'm 500 gajillion% long on Fartcoin. There you go. That's some confidence for you right there, baby. It's the utility, right? It's the utility of Fartcoin. I love that joking around chat is not so joking around anymore since we started moving to the upside. There you go. Big things popping, little things stopping. We got another clip to get to, guys. Let's see what's going on over here. In news about the dollar dominance at risk. Harvard's Ken Rogoff on the future of the greenbacks.
Economics professor and former IMF chief economist Ken Rogoff is out with a new book today, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Join us now is the author, Ken Rogoff. Good to see you. Good to have you on.
Good to have you. Good to see you. Sorry.
Is this orchestrated?
Your show? It's okay.
Yeah. Is this
over?
Is this an orchestrated decline? Because it fits in so well with some of the goals of the Trump administration.
Well, if we're talking about the decline of the value of the dollar, I think it was really high and set to come down. My book talks about that, but it's more about the dominance of the dollar, the fact it's like English, everything's trade is denominated in dollars, assets are denominated in dollars. We control the global financial system. And the rest of the world didn't like that very much. So we weren't orchestrating that. I think the
Chinese... Are we orchestrating the decline?
Well, I think Trump is a catalyst, an accelerant, but sort of saying it's because of him is wrong. Like, it was in play for more than a decade. We had reached this incredible peak. It's not that the dollar's disappearing, but sort of coming down from this incredibly dominant position. It affects the interest rate we pay, our ability to impose sanctions, many other things. I mean, it's a real turning point in the global economy.
Are we at the beginning of it or at the end of it?
No, we're near the beginning of it. This process is going to take
and what's the end result? And what becomes, who replaced, is it supplanted?
No, I mean, I think there'll be a transitional period, and there always is. And
the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin and crypto derivatives are in play in the underground economy where people avoid taxes, especially. And that already is
but you don't see it, that won't, I mean, I've seen people saying it's going to be, I saw something the other day that it's going to have infinite value someday. That was obviously someone who was orange pilled.
Definitely the orange pill. I mean, of course, if we don't regulate it at all, then eventually we'll have a huge financial crisis. We'll have trouble funding ourselves. But I don't see that. It's more fraying at the edges. The renminbi's breaking off already. That's been going on for a while. The euro, although it lost its footing in the euro crisis, is going to take a little more share. We'll still be first, but it's coming down. And then, 50 years from now, who knows?
Yeah, that's key, I think, though. So that's what I was grappling with. I wouldn't know what to replace the dollar. It seems like, we've heard this before. Almost reminds me of Malthusian predictions.
It's been going on for 10 years. This isn't a prediction at this point. I mean, the dollar's footprint's been in decline. You can look at any measure, simple ones, reserves, but they're more sophisticated.
Is it a problem right now, Ken? I mean, or was it a problem when it was too strong?
Now you're talking the value of the dollar, okay?
Right.
So that's something the Trump administration's been pushing, and there's a little bit.
Okay, what about
the
dominant, not the value, the dominance of it on the globe?
It's great for us. I mean, of course, it's fantastic. It gives
there wasn't
us
any downside.
Yeah, we save on interest, your mortgage, your car loan, everything you save money on. Our ability not just to impose sanctions, but to know what's going on. An incredible amount of financial transactions route through the United States. And that's part of our spying.
Is that a decline of our civilization? You think about the British Navy and how that eventually brought it down, or is this something that is not going to cause all that much pain and suffering here?
Well, you know, after World War I, the dollar picked up equal to the pound, and we had a period like that. But it really took World War II to take out the pound. No, it's so the other problem's not just the outside appetite to make it have other options, but on the inside, our debt, which I think is unsustainable, and your previous guest thinks they'll fix that, but I'm very skeptical. I don't think there's any appetite for that. And a lot of that has to do with a belief that interest rates will go back to very low levels. And I've come on for years onto your show and said, don't believe that. It also has to do with independence of the Federal Reserve, which is a relatively new thing. And both parties don't like it. It's not just Trump, you know, verbalizing it. Believe me, the progressives, you know, want to absorb the Fed into the Treasury.
Say that again. You think that?
because
It's too shocking.
they want to. Well, they want to be.
No, they
money
want a central bank digital
Right.
currency, soak everything up from the banks, which they don't like. Then the central bank will have all the money, and they'll, you know, find who to lend it to. And there are various levels of these plans, but that's an idea been floating out there for a long time. And central bank digital currencies in some form, maybe stable coins, are coming. If we had stable coins that are Treasury backed, it does the same thing.
Can I ask you a different question? Do you think that our current Treasury Secretary, not our Treasury Secretary, our current Fed Chairman is the right chairman?
I think he's terrific.
You think he's great?
My goodness. You know, I put myself in, like, could I have done better when I asked, did Bernanke make a mistake? And I go back to my chess days when I would look at move 33 in some game when I was a kid and say, oh, what a stupid move. I could have beaten them. And then I get to play the player and, oh, I didn't get to move 17. I mean, you have to look at the whole thing. If you pick 40 actions in a volatile world, they're going to make mistakes. So obviously the inflation that happened after the pandemic was bad. But no, I think Powell's done a great job.
So the preeminent status of the dollar, which you think has started to decline. This wasn't a book about Trump and how that other countries are now avoiding U.S.-based. It's not about that.
The last day I touched the book was election day. I didn't know who would be president. I didn't like either one, but it was much more their undercurrents. It's who we are. We don't want to balance our budget. It's not that the Democrats don't and the Republicans don't. It's that you can't win an election. Federal Reserve independence riles a lot of people. They don't like technocrats controlling things. It's pretty easy to attack. You know, I could go on and on, but I think it's within us. That's the big problem, like the fall of Rome. But also the rest of the world, yeah, it's efficient to just use dollars, but that gives the U.S. too much political control, and they don't like it. It's not just the Chinese, it's not just the Russians. Believe me, the Europeans hate it, and they were moving to get away, lessen their dependence, to get the euro used more. I mean, I think, you know, it was one point in maybe 2007, Shakira wanted to be paid in euro. Yeah. The euro was becoming a thing, and then the debt crisis happened, but you know, it'll come back.
Do you have a favorite chess piece?
Well, I have to say the Queen because it's the only politically correct thing to say.
Without the King, you're dead. How could it not be the King?
Well,
you like pawns? Underrated.
I mean, in my games,
he's ready to talk about this.
I like knights.
It's not like asking
what. I'm sorry. So I have to say in this, you've asked me about chess over the years.
Yes.
And you asked me, am I always thinking about chess? I'm thinking about it right now.
I know you are.
And I answered half honestly, saying no. But the truth is, I do think about it a lot. And for the first time in my writing, I tried to bring that out a little bit, you know, where are the analogies?
I love what you just said about Chairman Powell and thinking what move all the way through and getting to even move 40.
No, exactly. Like you can't just, you know, look at one mistake somebody made. And at chess, it's very hard to get every move right. And in managing the Federal Reserve, there's so many decisions you have to make. There's so many questions. And so, I think he's done a very professional job and communicates well. So I think it's been a great
analogies. We like this.
Doesn't like Powell. Let's check out the dollar right now. How's it doing? Let's get rid of the M2 money supply here. We're looking pretty good on the dollar here, guys. We need this back down inside of this range here. See, alt season, I put in here. I don't know if you can see it says alt season. Because back here, in this pocket here was the altcoin, or this was the blow off top for the bull run. And then this here was the bear market starting, right? Bitcoin and crypto was crashing. The DXY was climbing, right? So this was the golden pocket area right here for the last bull run. We need to drop the dollar down inside of here. Can we get that done? That's what we want to see. This, people keep asking me, when's altcoin season? Well, we need the dollar to fall further. First of all, it has really fallen dramatically, which is fantastic, but we need to see this fall further. Let's go look at Bitcoin dominance. Right? Similar Bitcoin dominance. Let's get rid of the M2 money supply there. Needs to drop down into this pocket here. Right? We need to come all the way down into here, because that is where we were. We were down here. Like, look how far down it fell. This was the last altcoin season blow off top. This was Bitcoin dominance crashing, but at the same time, Bitcoin's price was skyrocketing, right? And again, that leads back to what I was telling you guys earlier about how Bitcoin dominance reflects the performance of altcoins over Bitcoin or Bitcoin over altcoins. It's not necessarily that money's flowing out of Bitcoin and into altcoins, right? Some of it, yes, but it's more liquidity coming into the market, but most of it's going into altcoins as opposed to Bitcoin. And so that's why when I say to you guys that, you know, right here between January and May, Bitcoin dominance plummeted, but Bitcoin's price went up, right? January of 2021. So if we go to Bitcoin, right? Let's go to Bitcoin and let's have a look at, oh, why is this so crazy? January to May of 2021, right in here, right? November, December, January. See Bitcoin's price, I shrunk it down too low. Bitcoin's price right here, while Bitcoin dominance was crashing, Bitcoin's price was going up, right? So that's because while money was still flowing into Bitcoin, more money was flowing into altcoins. So altcoins were outperforming it, right? So yeah, but let's get back into the chat here. Devin, what's up, buddy? Have to give a special shout out to D's Nuts, only 0.7 million away from my target, 10 million ZBEC. Nice. There you go, man. There you go. Do you consider a good size bag? Yes, I do consider that a decent size bag. Decent. Orange pill, absolutely. Someone finally said that about central banks. Absolutely, man. When Lambo or when DCA app. Grandpa Powell is, he needs to cut the rates so I can buy more Pokemon cards. Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely, Dadsky. I agree, brother. Danny, guys, remember to keep the Patreon questions in the Patreon chat. Yes, absolutely. 100%. So things are looking good, guys. Bitcoin has jumped back up over $95,000. Where are we going to close this day? We shall see what we shall see, guys. I'm going to get over to the Patreon. We're going to be doing a live over there in about 15 minutes, guys. Get your butts over there. We'll get this live stream going. Also, guys, get over there. We just dropped another gem yesterday, a small cap gem. Guys, you know me. I love my decentralized finance play. I'm going heavy into this one over the next 2 weeks. I started buying yesterday. It's in decentralized finance narrative. It's got phenomenal tokenomics, great partnerships, made in America, all the above, guys. Do not miss out on getting in early on these projects. We got in early on Nadix. We got in early on XPR, ZBEC, XCN, and so many others, guys. Moonwell, Miria. Check it out. The link is down below. Come on over, join the community. We've helped 30 people now hit seven-figure portfolios over there, guys. 30 of them, right? We're looking to keep that streak alive. So come on aboard, get in early on these projects. I'm super excited about it. I'm accumulating it every single day, right now. So come aboard. We're live over there every day. I will be live in about 15 minutes over on the Patreon, so join the live over there. You can book one-on-one coaching calls over there as well. So come aboard, book your one-on-one coaching calls, check out our educational content, our microcap gems, our live streams, and so much more. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.